After a couple months of the Mario movie and its hype dying down, I recently rewatched it for the sixth time. And I'm still kind of conflicted about this movie and its status of, being good. Because I've been a Mario fan since as long as I can remember. And ever since Nintendo announced they're making an animated film, 11-year-old me was super ecstatic. Oh boy, I wonder who's animating this film. Ah! Yeah, after I learned that Illumination was going to be making this movie, I thought, there goes all my hopes and dreams about this movie being good. But, Nintendo was behind the mantle, so maybe they'll make one of the best Illumination movies ever made, aka an alright movie. Looking back, I totally get why Nintendo would choose Illumination. They make a crap ton of money. They don't really have to try out their movies because if they just push enough money into marketing, they'll make enough. And with Illumination, with its god tier marketing, and with Super freaking Mario, they were able to make the highest grossing animated opening the film of all time. I can't speak words. Now, as a fan of movies and cinema, this is probably one of the most alright films you could watch, but it still manages to be one of Illumination's best films because the bar is set in hell. Despite its issues, I adore this movie. There's something so surreal about seeing Super freaking Mario on the big screen. The entire time I could not stop smiling. The amount of Mario this movie has is insane. It's the Mario movie! Some people say that's all this movie is, and honestly, they're kind of right. This is just a big love letter to the entire Mario franchise, catered to the fans. So in my heart, it's a 10 out of 10, but as a movie, Illumination's worst film. Despite my undying love for this movie, I can't ignore some of the flaws it has. Like the most controversial part of this movie's production, the casting choice. I think we all know what we thought about when Chris Pratt was announced as Mario. Whether angry, confused, or you didn't really care. I knew Chris was a good actor, so maybe he could do something special here.
Bring it down hard!
He was alright. Chris changed his voice a little bit, and at the beginning he did his typical Mario accent, which doesn't sound half bad actually, but his actual voice is passable and fits the character of Mario in the movie. I like it, it's not that bad. Anya Taylor-Joy is good, not much to say, she did a swell job voicing Peach. White woman moment. Keegan was a great Toad in my opinion. He was probably the actor changing his voice the most, and actually, I don't know, what does Anya sound like? She's British? Ew. Okay, so I guess Keegan and Anya changed their voice to fit the characters a lot too. As well as a certain Koopa we all know and love. That's right, we all love him. He's Turtle Man. It's Scott Melvin, who voices Robin from Teen Titans, and Koopa here.
Well, what if she says no?
It would be so awesome. It would be so cool.
Jack Black's Bowser is terrific. You can tell Jack Black really is giving it his all and truly loves the character of Bowser. God, I love Jack Black. I want to be just like him when I grow up. Charlie Day's Luigi is amazing. There's not much to say here. Same with Seth Rogen. Obvious good choice. And honestly, the weakest casting choice in this movie was Cranky Kong. He doesn't sound cranky or Kong-like in the movie. He just sounds, kind of bored. Like he doesn't want to be here. The soundtrack is on point. The remixes of various Mario themes are spectacular and maybe squeal. Like most people, I think the licensed songs sort of bring you out of the movie a bit. I mean, it's a Mario movie made by Illumination, so I'm not surprised that they're here because they love making the money. Ooh, boy, I love using licensed songs for my movies. And honestly, the songs they chose, despite being generic somewhat, are a place where the songs don't really hinder the scene all too much, and are a place where the more slapstick humor is. But again, I don't associate Super Mario with the Beatsy Boys, and it does seem like a random pick. And apparently they wanted to add this song to the Bowser fight, which, no. Why would you piss off every single Mario fan by doing that? Take On Me was probably the most controversial pick for me. Now I just don't really care, because it doesn't really ruin the scene all too much, until I learned that it replaced one of the most beautifully orchestrated scores I've ever heard with my virgin ears. I think one of the strongest elements of this movie are the character interactions. Each character had decent chemistry with each other, except Mario and Toad, and especially Mario and Luigi. Their relationship seemed so natural and loving, it was great. I think it was like Luigi as a character. Too bad I get sidelined the entire movie. I was bummed when he got in jail for the whole duration of the film. I understand why Luigi got captured, because it gave Mario a motive. And instead of Peach getting captured, it gave Mario and Peach time to interact with each other. I like seeing them together, they're a fun duo. I just felt like they could have done more with Luigi. They have this scene where he remembers Mario and him as babies, and I thought they were going to do something with that. Personally, I would have given Luigi a prison escape story, whereas after reminiscing about his own brother's bravery, it gives him the courage and confidence to escape the prison and maybe find his brother. Until he's about to escape, and then he sees Bowser again, and then he has an accurate depiction of a panic attack. And then his fear takes over, and he hides again, showing that despite doing all these things, he's still a little coward on the inside without his brother. And then when Peach gets captive, she meets Luigi, and they team up to stop Bowser, and they have little scenes together, you know, more character interactions. And you can still have the scene where Mario saves Luigi by making Bowser push him off the ledge or something. And all that will make the scene where Luigi saves Mario from the fire have a lot more payoff. I also think that Toad is probably the most least developed character, which isn't saying much as most of the characters are fairly simple and underdeveloped. But they try to set up this one-sided friendship between Mario and Toad, where Mario seemingly is annoyed with Toad tagging along, but they kind of do nothing with it. He sort of just become friends out of nowhere. This is a count to the movie's very fast pacing, which isn't a problem in my opinion, but it does show its holes. I think an easy way to fix this Toad problem is to extend the montage of them traveling between each island, and Mario and Toad interact and bond a bit. Maybe Toad could say a funny joke and Mario could be like, haha, well Toad, you really are a fun guy, I don't know, something at least. But the movie's fast-paced prohibits this, and at times the movie just feels like it's throwing so much at you that you can barely have a chance to breathe. But its pacing does make it so that you aren't bored, since there's always something new happening. Now, it's been really hard for me and a few others to review this movie critically, and after a few months of the hype dying down, I think it's safe to ask, was this movie overrated? Kinda. No, it's nice to see that so many people love this movie, including myself, because there's so much to love, man. If you're a Mario fan, this movie's the best. Even if you aren't much of a Mario fan, it's still a pretty fun movie that just doesn't have any substance. It's not trying to be anything else, it's just being a Mario movie. No one was really expecting anything groundbreaking from this movie. It's everything a Mario fan could want. But again, that doesn't mean it couldn't have been something greater. Again, I am very conflicted about my thoughts because it's Mario. I love Mario, but this isn't a very great movie and it bums me out. The Mario movie will always be special to me, and even though it's not the best, I'll still remember the smile I've had watching it, and my excitement for this release. But for what it is, it does it well, being a movie that's able to bring the fun of playing a Mario game to the big screen. And it made a ton of money too, like insanely. So I think it saves us soon enough for their next movie. They're just gonna add even more references and less substance, and hope people like me are gonna eat it up. And I will. Why? Because it's goddamn Mario. It is nice to see a video game movie be completely faithful to its source material, unlike somebody else, and I hope that Nintendo never ever lets Illumination make another Nintendo property movie ever again. Other than Mario, of course. And for that, all I gotta say is, do the Marios!
Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario. Take one step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now. Come on now, just like that.